The Melbourne Storm at home for the first time this season and looking to show their fans the sort of form they've come to expect over the past decade. Hi everybody, Warren Smith, Greg Alexander and Brett Kamali to bring you all the action of this one between the Storm and the Sharks. On a bad crowd in here at Amy Park for their first appearance here at home in 2015. Unlucky losers, you would have to say, last week, Brandy, the Melbourne Storm against the Seagulls up there at Brookvale Oval, given a couple of controversial calls.
Yeah, another thrilling contest at Brookie. They fell 2 points short, trailed 24-6 at half-time and just ran out of time in the end. 2 points was the difference between the sides there. They haven't lost a home match, the Storm, since 2004. Their opposition tonight, well, it's been a disappointing start to the season. This is how they will line up. Michael Gordon at the back, Valentine Holmes and Sasai Feki are the wingers. The centres, Jared Beale and Ricky Latelli. In the halves for the Sharks, Ben Barber with the number 6, Jeff Robson at halfback. Up front, Andrew Fafita, Michael Ennis and Sam Tagatese, his first game for 2015. Jason Bakuya, Paul Gallen and Wade Graham are the back rowers. The interchange bench, Chris Hyington, Anthony Tupou, David Fafita, and again for the first time in 2015, Luke Lewis.
It has been a very tough place for the Sharks to come and try and wrest away a victory from the Melbourne Storm over the past few seasons. In fact, their combined last 2 games down here, they've lost by a total 86-12, 48 points to 6 last year, 38-6 the year before. Here's the back three for the Melbourne Storm: Billy Slater, Young Tonamapia and Marika Korobetti. The centres tonight, Will Chambers and Kurt Mann. And the halves combination once more, Blake Green and Cooper Cronk. The forwards look this way for the home side. Jesse Bromwich, Cameron Smith is the hooker and captain, and Jordan McLean is the other front rower. The back rowers, Kevin Proctor on the right, Dale Finucane in the middle, and Tohu Harris will play on the left-hand side. The bench for Melbourne, one change to it: Ryan Hinchcliffe, Tim Glasby, Dane Weston. They're all joined by Felice Kafusi, who missed the loss last week against Manly, serving a 1-game suspension for a tackle on Benji Marshall and the win against the Dragons at Cogra in round 1. A 1-win, 1-loss record for the home side. The visitors 0-2, looking to get their season underway. And tryless with the Sharks held last week. We'll wait and see how they fare here tonight in enemy territory. Somebody who knows both these clubs very well is Brett Kamali. Noddy, Amy Park, it's a tough place to come when you're searching for a win.
Yeah, that's right. It was an extremely hard place to find a victory, and the Melbourne Storm don't need much motivation. Coming off a loss, they do not like to lose back-to-back games, and also their first home game for 2015, so some motivation there. I think something to look forward to and to watch will be the Cronulla Sharks forwards. I think they'll outmuscle the Melbourne Storm. I think they'll get the upper hand on the Melbourne Storm, but I wonder whether the halves or the back line for the Sharks have enough skill, enough execution, enough flair to score enough points to win tonight.
We'll wait and see, Brett. There's been so much talk about Ben Barber and what he's offered the Sharks so far, or perhaps what he hasn't offered the Sharks in 2015. We'll wait and see what they've done as far as their attack is concerned. Plenty of talk during the week coming from Mondus Stadium that they have tweaked things on the right-hand side. They do get Luke Lewis back tonight, albeit working off the bench initially, but he will be a bonus on that right-hand side of the field.
Well, he will. It's a plus to get him and Tagatese back into the forward pack as the Sharks make their way out onto Amy Park. Ben Barber and our brief chat with Paul Gallen before the game, we learnt that Ben Barber might be playing a different role, certainly in attack. When they get down into the attacking 20-30 metre line, we might see Benny Barber sweeping around the back and not playing at first receiver. Valentine Holmes, 19-year-old, he's a young player who made his debut at the back end of last year. And he's in after missing the opening game of the season. Started for the Sharks last week, but he's a talented kid, good footwork and speed.
A Townsville product, and Andrew Fafita talking about that advantage, Brett, that the Sharks have over the Storm that you perceive in the middle of the field. We'll wait and see if that's the case, but if it is to be that way, Andrew Fafita will be a massive part of what they do in that middle third. Cameron Smith brings them out for the first time this season on home soil. We'll wait and see if it is their time, and certainly their year. Their form will have to be better than it has been over the first couple of weeks. Mixed effort against the Dragons for a win, and in patches last week they were very good, all but 10 minutes before half-time.
I think if you were to sum it up, you'd have to say it was scratchy, but the man that I think has been the best in both games for the Melbourne Storm is Billy Slater. He looks fresh after an off-season where he had surgery but had plenty of rest also. So Billy Slater, whether it's in the middle or drifting out wide, he's a threat and poses a threat anywhere. And that man on the right, well, Kevin Proctor, doesn't... When you look at the starting forwards, gets less touches and makes less metres than all the Melbourne forwards, but he just parks himself out in that right-hand side, giving Cooper Cronk every opportunity to get to him and hit him with one of those short balls. We'll see if the left side defence of the Sharks can handle what they throw at them.
Okay, mate. Yep.
The Storm have won 8 of their past 9 against Cronulla. You have to go back to 2008 for the last time the Sharks beat Melbourne in Melbourne. We're underway. Cameron Smith with the kickoff. It'll go down to Jeff Robson, and he'll give it to Sam Tagatese. Like many players sporting a top knot, the bun, he'll play it just outside the 10. Ennis from dummy half coming across to Andrew Fafita. Plenty of numbers there in the tackle for Melbourne. Here's Barber heading out on the right-hand side. A little show back on the inside there for Jason Bakuya. And here's Bakuya working it up within 10 of the halfway line. Ennis appealing for a penalty, not getting one. Paul Gallen, 15-metre carry with his first touch into Melbourne Storm territory. One more play and it goes through Robson. Graham has a very adept kicking game, the left edge back rower. Deputised brilliantly at times in 2014 for Paul Gallen. He was missing with injury and also origin duties.
There's a real chance there for the Sharks. I know you want to get to your kick off the first set, and it was a good set with the ball from the Cronulla Sharks. Terrific work from Michael Ennis, who gave Paul Gallen some space, really dragged the markers in, but there was a chance for Wade Graham just to feed his outside men after young time appear and drop back.
Harris gives it to Kurt Mann, ankle tapped. He was away, he was going to be one-on-one there with Michael Gordon. An ankle tap cut him down 25 metres out. Green shows it, sees some space. Graham came up quickly, and luckily for him, the skipper, Paul Gallen, had the speed to come across and cut him down. Now Cronk chipping towards the corner, out wide. Korobiti goes up for it, tries to keep it alive. Man can't come up with it. An exciting set of 6 in a tap from Melbourne.
Well, we thought the Sharks' first set was good. Melbourne's was even better. Down that left side, and it was Jason Bakuya who came up with the ankle tap on Kurt Mann. If he gets past Jason Bakuya, well, there was support coming his way with only Michael Gordon to beat. Blake Green, a good early touch too, and that has been an improvement for the Melbourne Storm, with Blake Green showing something and offering something on that left side.
No question about that. Impressive last week. 2 important tries in the comeback against the Sea Eagles, and there was a lot more balance in their attack against Manly than there was the week before against St George Illawarra. Gallen tipping it on this time, going to Graham. Must have had his heart in his mouth as Green cut back on the inside in the previous set, but Gallen's defence was very good. Ennis picks out Dale Finucane. Former teammates at the Bulldogs, and Finucane not square there at marker, and Ennis realising that. They'll quickly find the line as well, get a chance to go on the attack.
Gee, a lot more energy about the Sharks in the early part of the game than there has been in their last 2 starts. Let's see what they can do, because this is where the problem has been when they get down this end of the field.
See who it is that gets a chance. You can see Robson there behind the play talking to Ben Barber, saying exactly what he wants in the next few plays. Fafita charging hard. He'll play it about 3 metres out. Harris was there and so was Smith to stop him. Ennis bypasses Gallen. It goes to Robson out the back. A chance for Latelli. Gets past Chambers. Prompto working from the inside, makes the tackle. Work it away from the corner. Robson to Graham. They'll just take it forward for a settler. Around the legs there, McLean. Harris over the top. The ball could come loose for a moment, but he's done well, Graham, to hang on to it. 2 more plays in this set. Gallen, good ball for Feta. Almost through. It was Blake Green who stopped him. Ennis, bullet-like ball. Robson Grubbers, picked up by Korobiti. He's going to bring it back the hard way, and he made it.
Didn't he put his body on the line? Korobiti there. Got the bounce, but still had a lot of work to do to get the ball into the field of play. Good luck trying to stop him in the in-goal area when he put his head down. Andrew Fafita, what a start to the game he has had.
What a tackle by Blake Green to stop him scoring as well. Watch it again. As Gallen tipped it on, it was a lovely ball. Big tackle by the 5'8". Tremendous defence to save a try. Here is Smith going from dummy half. Picked off there by Bakuya. It has been end-to-end. Promising beginning as far as the action is concerned. Cronk putting it high in the air. Comes to grips there with Michael Lennis. Play on for the moment. The pocket referee watching on. A scuffle behind the play as Gordon will play it there at his own 30 as Fecky is picked off there by Finucane. Watch the contact once again as Cronk puts it up in the air and then coming through. Ennis a fraction late.
Well, I think so. And he'd actually stopped on his run and then set himself again. So he could have he'd pulled out of that and then went on with it. Different from a man just going through with the tackle. He had second thoughts about what he was doing.
That's why Cronk resented it, and Melbourne very unlucky not to get a penalty. Jason Bakuya playing it here as Ennis. Grubbers down the short side, takes it out of play. Very conservative play from good attacking range there. You'd have thought a ball in the air perhaps might have been the preferred option, but he just wants to control things and make Melbourne work it away from a scrum.
He might have felt that his side were under the pump, but both sides are breaking the defence. Cameron Smith dumbing his way through the Sharks front line, almost getting a pass on the outside. A real dangerous situation there from the Sharks, but they look ready for this one, Cronulla. When we talk about matchups, we watched a great one last Saturday night at Brookvale Oval. Will Chambers up against Steve Matter. I think Ricky Natelli.
Here is Kurt Mann from the scrum when going a long way as well. You said, Brandy. There are plenty of gaps out here in both these defensive lines, and Mann again away down that left-hand side. Korobiti back at the halfway line. Melbourne on a roll as Green gives it to Cronk. First man play there for Proctor. Good tackle though by Jeff Robson. Some great defence from the halves on both sides in the first 6 minutes of this one. Jesse Bromwich, the player just back inside the Sharks 30. Smith going to Cronk. Slater was out the back. Cronk will spin and goes himself. Tagatese was there and so was Ennis. They've got one more. Here's Smith. Having to go to first receiver on the last. Gets it back to Slater. He Grubbers. Oh, Fecky! He got an awkward bounce, knocked it backwards, cleans up and has possession.
Well, he did well, Fecky, because he'd slipped over and he was stationary. He couldn't move and he was just hoping the ball bounced somewhere near his hands. He got part of it. Unfortunately, was able to get back and retrieve it, but both sides marching 60, 70 metres every time they get a set.
Gallen had to reel that pass in. It wasn't a great ball for him. 3 in the tackle, lashing out at McLean, who was over the top of him. Graham from inside the 40. Early in the tackle count, kicks it out on the full. It was a terrific chance for a 40-20. No wingers back early in the tackle count. There was no play for Slater had it been on target, but just off the side of the boot.
Yeah, just stabbed at it and just slid off the side of his foot. The first real error. Let's see what Melbourne can do starting their set inside the 40.
Bromwich it is. They will play it here. Midfield 30 out from the Sharks line. Smith from dummy half and Phil Tagatese. Ennis and Gallen is there. So is Fafita. They take him to ground. Isn't an easy thing to do against a player who is so strong. Green at the line. Chambers wrapping from the right to the left. Finding Slater. Coming back to the middle. Giving it to Finucane. Good tackle there made by Wade Graham. Some good goal line defence from both teams so far. Harris in 2 speed, too much power for Ben Barber. Tohu Harris scores the opener in this one.
Well, Blake Green was set to left there, and they bypassed him with a long pass to Tohu Harris, who just took off for the corner. Got on the outside of the Cronulla defence. That caused them to slide. Here's the kick from Wade Graham. You can have a tendency to slice when you just stab at the footy, and then stands up Ben Barber. The outside defenders had to stay on their men, which isolated Barber and made it a one-on-one tackle. Jared Beale sliding, staying on Kurt Mann. And by the time he tried to tackle Tohu Harris, it was too late. He was on the try line.
That really is a mismatch in size, and off the mark he showed some speed as well. I thought with Barber's speed he'd have been able to get across there and get his body in front of Harris, but unable to do that once he got to the line. And as you said, Beale was sliding out. Harris was always going to score.
I mean, once you hang off at that point on the ground, once you start to slide on your try line and you don't come forward, well, you're in trouble. And Harris with the big body up against Ben Barber. It's going to be a huge challenge for Barber to stop him short of the try line. And the Sharks' error comes back to bite them.
What a frantic opening it's been. Now Cameron Smith on wide out, missed just the one kick last week, and it proved to be the difference. 24-22 loss there at Brookvale. A good strike from the skipper. It holds its line as well. A perfect opening. 6-0 over the Sharks, Noddy.
Yeah, it's a good start for both sides. They've been enthusiastic and energised, but that's what an arm wrestle's about. Go set for set, see who breaks. Well, the Cronulla Sharks broke with Wade Graham's error. Melbourne Storm made them pay. They're now leading that arm wrestle 1-0.
Stay on.
Henry Fafita winding up. Intent on his face. When close to scoring at the other end, it could have easily been the Sharks who grabbed the first try of the game. And Paul Gallen, as you'd expect, has been involved in everything. Tip-ons, carries, good defence as well. The kick-off, a deep one. And Bromwich it is who will bring it back. And offloading it, giving it to Blake Green. Chance with Karabiti and Mann on the outside of the defence there as well, but he elected to hang on to it. Here's the try scorer. Harris will work it outside the Melbourne 20. Smith comes to Finucane, little in and away. Space, a big space. McLean pouring downfield. Cronk in support. Got jammed there between Latelli and also Fecchi. Numbers on the right side. Smith cuts back to the left. Green gets away from Bakuya. Nice ball for Korobiti. He puts the head down. He knows only one way. He charges hard. Mann gives it back to Harris. Here's Smith. Play 5 off the back of scoring points. They're deep on the attack again. Cronk wanted a settler. And Bromwich obliges, and they'll have one more from a midfield situation. Cronk waiting for it, gets it. Slater back on the inside, he goes outside. Chambers up against Latelli, spinning, won't make it to the line, and that's where they'll end.
Well, they have to run the football, and Cooper Cronk handed it off to Jesse Bromwich because he knew that there was only one tackle left. He wanted the last crack at the Sharks' defensive line. He thought the kick was on, but he opted to pass. Will Chambers just couldn't get his arms free for young Tonomapia. But a terrific set off the back of points from the Melbourne Storm.
And it was alarming the way Jordan McLean was able to storm down the field. It was a good piece of work defensively by Fecchi and also Latelli to stop Cronk going the rest of the way. So Fafita finds Barber, but Cunha up against Blake Green. Looks to be a judicious signing, doesn't he, by the Melbourne Storm. Blake Green. Impressive last week and again already in this game. Ennis Sharks from dummy half will kick towards the corner. Corabetti was attacking it, couldn't get there in time. Slater on the bounce, links up with his winger. Now he gets a chance. Oh, David Fafita is out there. An early change made in the front row rotation by Shane Flanagan. Brother Andrew is still out there. Sam Taylor it is. Very short opening stint.
Yeah, 10 minutes. 10 minutes from Sam. Interesting to see how the Sharks replied after a couple of disappointing losses coming into this game and then letting the first try in against them. There's still plenty of energy about the Sharks and their running of the ball. Well read there by David Fafita. Slater up the middle, but well marked.
Cronk on the last. Ennis was there again, but didn't go through with the tackle this time. And the ball goes down to Valentine Holmes, who is a real speedster. Scored 3 tries in his 7 games in the NRL. And Jared Beale works it back up towards the halfway line. And a penalty.
Jesse.
Melbourne jumping the gun.
Yeah.
Jesse Bromwich, the player called out. It'll give the Sharks a chance to put a bit of pressure here on this Melbourne Storm defensive line once again, and they've looked good when they've gone inside the opposition 20.
Well, they've looked a lot better than they have over the last couple of weeks. Of course, couldn't crack it for a try against Brisbane, but Jeff Robson doesn't find touch.
Big effort here for Corabetti to bring it back. Holmes is down there. Speed on speed right there, and they stop him. A big effort by Jeff Robson.
Well, he put his hand up because he kicked the ball and he knew that he had to make up for it. Valentine Holmes did a great job. He chased hard after the kick, realised that Corabetti was going to get his hands to it. Tough job for Corabetti to get out of there. Holmes had him for speed. He pushed away from him. Robson makes the legs tackle. There's the reaction after he realises the kick wasn't finding touch. They get away with it.
He put his head down, but he got it back up very quickly. Here's an awkward bouncing ball. Wayne Graham up against the sideline. Drop out that intent on finding touch. Latelli feeds it from Robson. Here is David Fafita, chopped down there by Smith with Tohu Harris over the top. Now Andrew Fafita. What a combination, isn't it? Both of them going back to back. It takes some stopping. Here's Barber on the line. Nice ball there for Bakuya. Out the back. Gordon couldn't hang on to it. Melbourne have it through Corabetti. Didn't produce points, but it looked pretty good.
Well, it did. Jason Bakuya. Barber just squaring the Melbourne Storm defence up, creating some space for Bakuya, who just tried to shuffle the ball out. Good shot underneath. Was that Blake Green or Kurt Mann who came in to put the shot on Bakuya? He was still able to get his arms free, but not able to find the target in Michael Gordon.
A reliever right here for Melbourne to work it away from their own end the easy way, but a lot more direct in that right-hand side, the Sharks, on that previous set, and that play in particular. The first 2 rounds with Barber floating out towards the edges. Everything's been angled towards the corner post, and they've been easily picked off defensively in their first 2 games. But that looked a lot sharper and a lot more direct at the Melbourne Storm line. Here's a chance for Melbourne to do likewise now at this other end of the field. Cronk again coming to grips with Ennis. He's got his number at the moment for Nuka. A little bit high in the tackle.
That's high.
Paul Gallen there.
Unfortunate. I think Dale Finucane tripped just as he got the... put a little bit of a step on the Sharks' defence and just fell slightly for it to be a high shot.
Paul, get in there. He's dead. Wait, hold. Go.
Just up above the shoulder there, that right arm of Gallen as Cronk comes out to the left-hand side. Lovely ball. Green back on the inside for Slater. Bulldogged there by Ben Barber, the former Bulldog himself. Green from dummy half. Cronk back on the inside. Speaking of dogs, here's a formal one again in Dale Finucane. 15 metres out from the Sharks line. Smith for Green, getting very involved. Here's Cronk. Proctor on the angle. Easily picked off there by Robson and also Latelli as a result. looking for their second try. They go back to the short side here. Young Tonamapea off the top of his head going towards the sideline, and they burn one right there. They've got one more left. Chambers, defeated for Cronk. Ennis was coming out looking for him once again. Knocked down. Harris got it to Mann. He gave it to Korobiti. It's play on for the moment. Still the last, and Cooper Cronk comes in to score.
Yes. Try.
This from Ben Barber on one of the chasers.
Yep, Clarkie, this will be tackle 6. We have try. We need to check the contest and see what happens after that. Thank you.
It might be a moot point that one of the Storm chasers was knocked down by Ben Barber because they ended up scoring anyway. And I don't think that anything happened there in regards to Melbourne where you could take it away from them.
Well, that's right. I think all eyes were on the collision between Barber and Slater as we just make sure the Melbourne Storm players are on side. The kick for Slater, and Slater runs into Ben Barber. Tohu Harris gets his hands to it. Kurt Mann just pushes it out to Korobiti. Cooper Cronk had been pushing forward after putting the kick up. And it doesn't matter what happened between Barber and Slater because Melbourne, as long as that Kurt Mann, did he knock the ball forward? David Fafita's saying he thinks so, and just watch as Tohu Harris flicks it back. Kurt Mann catches the ball. Does it come off Ben Barber? Because I think the ball goes forward.
I think it came off the left hand of Ben Barber, picked up by Korobiti, who was able to link up with Cooper Cronk, the man who began it all with the initial kick. And I think we'll see the green lights.
I am.
Video referees tonight, Steve Clark and Luke Phillips. They saw it the way we did. Melbourne are in again. It's a double-figure lead.
Well, a couple of tries against the Sharks after a promising start. They've been able to get themselves down the right end of the field on a couple of occasions. A penalty relieving the pressure. And the Melbourne Storm coming back up on the attack. Cooper Cronk gets himself in position for the last play. Tohu Harris does a great job just to get a hand to it. There might have been a bit of luck there between the pass from Mann to Korobiti. There's no doubt about the result of it. He heads back in. He's had plenty of impact on the game already. The Melbourne winger Korobiti and Cooper Cronk. He comes up with his first try of the season.
His first try in a long time against the Sharks. He'd scored just one try in 13 previous appearances against them. Had to go all the way back to 2006. The last time Cooper Cronk scored against the Sharks. Equals Marcus Bai as the 4th highest try scorer for the Melbourne Storm with 70 now. It's been some sort of career. Cameron Smith converts the Cronk try, 12 points to 0. And well, the Sharks have to just muscle up in this middle of the field, don't they, Brett?
Yeah, they do. And on the back of the first try that we saw the Storm go length of field, I think confidence is down. They had a couple of attacking chances, but they come up with errors. That's the difference between these two football sides. Melbourne Storm catching balls under pressure, taking their chances. They've been attacking the middle. I've been liking that in their attack. And that was what happened on that kick. Cooper Cronk was able to stroll through the middle, unattached by the two Fafita brothers watching.
Paul Gallen with a leg there of Jordan McLean. Slow down to play the ball. Henry Smith again going from dummy half. Slammed to the ground there by David Fafita. He's lost the ball. It'll be a knock-on against the Storm, Queensland and Australian captain. Cronulla will get a chance here from 30 metres out.
Well, it was a quick defensive line from the Sharks, and Cameron Smith realised the pass would have put his players under pressure. He took off himself, made some good ground. You don't often see Cameron Smith backslammed like that, but it is a 120-kilo player in David Fafita. That hurt too.
We're all gone.
Well, they're not going to say a knock-on. There was a whistle there.
Yeah, I didn't think he dropped the ball,
Time's off.
He was just a bit stung by it.
Who was it? Who is it? 17?
David.
Well, now we're going to get David Fafita called out. Not only is it not going to be
Dangerous position. On
a
report.
knock on against Melbourne. Wow, boy.
Come on. What?
That is ultra conservative on the part of the video referees, Steve Clark and Luke Phillips. Boy.
What? He didn't even go down with him. He just picked him up and threw him onto the ground, basically. That was it.
Cameron Smith landed on the flat of his back.
Well, you can't be stopped making that sort of tackle.
Well, and yet we'll let players as second and third and fourth man in as
Onto the head.
on the penalty here, and things escalating as far as a bit of feeling in this game. But we'll let the third and fourth man come in and grab a leg of a player and twist it in the air and put a player in an awful position at times. And
here's the penalty. Well,
Andrew Fafita over the top.
Over.
Get a job at the local beauty salon with a facial like that.
Come on, give him space, give space.
Grab the hot towels and the moisturiser. Here's Cronk going to Bromwich. Cronk took a shot there after the ball as well. He hit the deck, but he bounced up pretty quickly. Melbourne looking for try number 3. 10 metres out. Green. Harris! He's in again. Tohu Harris. Off a lovely ball by Blake Green. What a signing he is proving to be.
We have a try. Confirm this grounding for me, please.
Well, it looked like he got it down Tohu Harris, and we've been speaking about the right side. It's the Proctor-Cronk combination, but now opposition teams have to worry about the left with Blake Green and Tohu Harris. Keeps his arm up off the ground and gets the ball down before it touches. Momentum took him into the in-goal area anyway. But a beautiful pass from Blake Green, who, as you said, had a huge impact on the comeback of the Storm last Saturday night at Brookvale Oval, scoring 2 tries in the second half. Let's just watch how he does it. Slater, his presence always has someone second-guessing, as does Will Chambers. Will Chambers has come from the right side to the left. Ben Barber's not sure who to take. He wants Chambers, and that just leaves a one-on-one tackle. Tohu Harris coming short, and Jason Bakuya just hadn't set himself that close to the line. You need to make good impact on a man the size of Harris, and he scores his second of the night.
First time he has scored a double in the NRL, and really with Chambers, as you pointed out, wrapping around the back, it's a mirror image of the play on the right-hand side we've come used to over the years with Cronk, Proctor and Slater. That one was Green, Harris and Chambers, with Will Chambers in the role of Billy Slater.
Yeah, but it was a double threat because Slater was there too. Slater was on the outside of Will Chambers, so it was a double threat to the Cronulla defence, and you saw how Barber just went straight off and overread things, thought that Chambers was getting the ball, which left Bakuya one-on-one with Tohu Harris, who hit it at speed.
Cameron Smith, this is a big scoreline now, and we mentioned before kickoff the history of big scorelines recently between these two teams, and it's all been one-way traffic as well, and that's the way of the leaders at the moment. Off the back of the big win over the past 2 seasons, they lead 18-0, Noddy.
Yeah, that's right. We've seen the Melbourne Storm rack up some points. No team, I think, still does it better than set play execution. If you're going to give penalties away because of poor discipline, they will hurt you, and obviously more questions to ask now. The right edge from Melbourne Storm, they've become predictable, but obviously they still execute their plays great. Now there's a left edge, and Blake Green adds more dimension, which makes it more dangerous to defend.
Luke Lewis is back out there now for the first time in 2015 for the Sharks. Diagnosed just recently with rheumatoid arthritis and has had all sorts of issues, ongoing problems with a knee injury, which somehow, some way he was able to play through last year in incredible pain at times and needed draining all the time, and they couldn't work out why that fluid kept coming back. Diagnosed him now with that condition. Good to see him back out there.
Now we go, Anthony.
Here's Smith. Man of the moment, Tohu Harris. First double of his career. Scored his first try in the NRL against the Sharks. He loves scoring tries against them, as it turns out. Here's Cronk. Here's that play on the other side this time. Lovely ball. It goes to Cronulla. He runs to Gordon, and they are coming to get them. Melbourne on the last play. Stacks of numbers to the left-hand side. Cronk, a kick, grabbed there by Jared Beale. They were lining up at the left edge, and Cronk's kick just needed a fraction more weight.
Well, they just had the Sharks on the back foot that whole set. Cronk and Slater running a lot of metres before Slater pulled off a brilliant cut-out pass across the face of Will Chambers to give Cronulla some space down this right-hand touchline. And then Jared Beale read the crossfield kick well, just to stop the leaking of points.
David Fafita will play it. A work a penalty over the top of Fanuka. We've got a real workout underneath. Fafita, who was flapping around like a trout in the bottom of the boat. Lewis. Play it there. Looking on that right-hand side. It'll be a handy acquisition for Ben Barber to go into tandem with on that side of the field. Look at Cora Beatty. Bring it back at speed. You have got to muscle up on kick returns from him. Ben Barber picks up Kurt Mann. That won't be a penalty. The tackle by Fafita on Smith was. Can you work that out for me?
No, I can't. No, it's ridiculous. Not so much that he wasn't penalised for that, but he definitely gets him up in the air. He throws him down, but that's not shocking. It just illustrates how poor a decision it was to penalise David Fafita.
Tim Glasby is out there now, replacing Jordan McLean, and playing it there for Smith. Here is Fanuka. He's able to beat a dangerous contact charge coming out of the game last week against Mountie, to take his place here tonight as Cronk chips for Slater. Slater up against Gordon, knocked it backwards. Cronk is there again.
No try.
Me too.
And we'll wait and see whether they
Six
say
tackle.
it was a knock
No
on
try.
by Slater. That's what they think it was.
Well, the end result might be a Melbourne Storm try, but it was the set that got them down to the 20-metre line. They just brought the ball back down the field. Cronk gets himself inside the 20. Billy Slater rarely gets the timing of those runs wrong. Beats a couple of defenders there. Well, it did look like Slater's hands. Got to the ball.
Given that angle there,
It went forward.
you won't be able to prove that it went backwards if Slater got a touch.
That's only if he did get a touch.
I think there was a touch there, perhaps with that right hand to project the ball back towards the uprights, and that's where the knock-on will likely be.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah.
Already with one try tonight, Cooper Cronk. Thinking for
Thank
a
you.
second he might have had another one, but to the red lights here from Steve Clark and Luke Phillips.
We're going to knock on
20-metre
Slater.
restart.
Last
for the
tackle.
Sharks.
Hand over here.
And that energy that the Sharks had in the opening 10 or 15 minutes is starting to fade.
We've got to play the ball.
Down
We've got to
18
play the
nil.
ball.
And every time the Melbourne Storm get the ball now, the Sharks just can't handle the speed that they're playing the game.
Tim Glasby, Ryan.
Fafita playing it. David that was as Gallen takes it beyond the 30.
Tim Jordan.
250 metres plus last week in that losing effort, 10-2 result. Defeated by the Broncos at home. Lewis playing. Here's Ennis, showing it to Fafita, giving it to Gallen, getting another touch. Loves a couple of carries per set. They're playing here 40 out on the Melbourne line. A full 360 from Ennis, gives it to Robson. They've lost their way suddenly. The back end of this set in pretty good field position, and now the halfback gets caught on the last. So Barber has to do some kicking. Didn't do much last week against the Broncos. Like a couple of average ones in the loss to the Raiders in week 1. Now a whistle. It's going to be a penalty for knocking down one of the chasers.
Yeah, it was Michael Gordon too.
Wait.
And the penalty doesn't happen enough for players running,
You would have got it back to school and signed it.
Go through, mate.
those intending to chase a kick often enough.
Okay, we'll see you when here.
That time the Melbourne Storm player changed his line, changed his direction to make contact with Michael Gordon as David Fafita gets it to within a couple of metres.
As we approach the half-hour mark, they'd love something right here. Graham. Taken around the legs there by Bromwich. That was okay. No.
It's dangerous around the legs.
We're going to say Gavin Badger, the main referee, didn't like the action of Bromwich around the legs, and penalty and a new set of 6 for the Sharks. Here's Fafita. He's had plenty of carries since coming off the bench. 7 of them now. What a great ball for Gavin. He did very well not to play at that. Could have easily knocked it on. Ennis gives it to Gordon. Stop 10 metres out from the Melbourne line. Ennis to Gallant. Tip on play there for Robson out there on the right-hand side. Lewis was running the line this time. Similar setup that saw Bakuya almost flash through earlier in the game. Now Ennis. Lewis once again spinning. Nothing doing. Anthony Tupou is out there in support. And the veteran hangs on to it. We've got 2 more plays right here. Robson now. Barber just floating out the back beside him. Not really doing a lot right there. What a ball! Fecky back on the inside. Cronk is there to intercept it. And Melbourne hang on.
Ben Barber had positioned himself to get involved in that play, but he was cut out of it. You'd like to see him getting the ball a couple wide. Things haven't changed that much in terms of where Barber's positioning himself and his involvement in the game. He is squaring things up on the right side, but the ball to Fecky, and Fecky did a marvellous job to get around young Tonamapia.
Good ball there from Green to Harris, but they're going to say that the pass was forward.
Pass gone forward.
He was under pressure there, Green, going backwards in the tackle. Watch this again. Lovely ball from Robson over the top. Beat Tonamapia. Fecky had visions of going to the corner, but trying to get it to Latelli. Cronk was there, and boy, Craig Bellamy not happy with his right side defence.
Well, Fecky just waited till the ball came and just turned around. Tonamapia, in his haste to get to Fecky, didn't realise he had a couple of metres down the side. I'm happy with the call about the pass. Blake Green, I thought he pushed it forward to Harris.
Involving Ben Barber at this end of the field is very much still a work in progress for the Sharks. We'll see what they can offer right here, but Paul Gallen before the game was talking about using Barber a little wider, deeper as well perhaps. Here he gets a chance, they bypass him once again. Robson to Beale instead. Barber was there, he'll go to dummy half. Lewis at first receiver, gives it to Anthony Tupou. It was a flat ball, and now a whistle. The Melbourne Storm being up inside the 10.
Hold on the line here. We're going to hold on the line here.
Well, a little run of penalties against the Melbourne Storm to keep the Sharks down this end of the field. And they need to come up with something. They need a result, at worst a repeat set.
Almost a mix-up there between Ennis and Gallen off the tap. From a metre away, Ennis goes wide. Robson bypasses Barber. He didn't intend to that time on the sweep play, which he made his own back in 2012 at the Bulldogs. Ben Barber, but couldn't come up with that one. Now Chris Hyington, a real shot to the ribs in the loss of the Broncos last week. He's out there off the bench now. Robson goes to Graham, a ball back on the inside.
Great coverage from the inside. The Melbourne Storm defenders doing the job.
Gordon playing it. Robson back to Gallen. Big fend into the face there of Proctor. The dreadlocks were flying. Here's Barber grubbering. Not a great one. Mann will get there and keep it in the field of play. And he'd like that kick back over again.
And I think Blake Green just got a touch to it after Barber kicked it, and that took some sting off the ball and allowed Kurt Mann to clean it up in the field of play.
Okay, give room now.
Again, a number of chances down this end of the field, and at the moment, no result yet for the Sharks.
Ricky to the side.
Short side, Paul.
Chambers playing it for Tonamapia. So their first try of the season.
Chris, give room.
in that victory against the Dragons at Cogra. Now Smith, rest there, but still gets the kick away. Picks out Gordon, though, on the full. He'll hand it off from Valentine Holmes to bring it back and play it in good field position here to start this set for the Sharks. 6 minutes out from the break. Here is Gordon trying to get away from Harris. Close to taking something away from this opening half, the Sharks, but despite having 19 tackles inside the opposition 20, donut next to their name. Did not cross the stripe last week against the Broncos. Graham worked it nicely, taps it quickly and goes. They'll get plenty more tackles right here, a full set from 20 metres away. Ennis. Back on the inside there for Hyington. Played about 15 away. Ennis looking either side. Finds Robson. Goes past him. Heads out towards Barber instead. Good ball for Lewis. Great tackle, Blake Green. 2 big tackles by the 5'8" in this first half. Ennis gives it to Tupou. He puts some stepping on. Out the back, a bit of handiwork as well with the ball. Gallen spinning as he goes towards Smith. Keeps it alive. Tupou's there again. Robson in support. Reaching out. Robson got it down. The halfback is in. And all the pressure finally tells.
The magic stuff there from Anthony Tupou, involved twice in that passage of play. Flicked the ball out the back. Paul Gallen was able to pick up the bouncing ball, go forward himself. And then Jeff Robson, he's a halfback that doesn't mind putting his body on the line and hitting a hole. Michael Ennis does a great job out of dummy half. Here's Tupou with the footwork. Gets that arm free, flicks it out. Paul Gallen scoops it up. Hits and swivels himself, gets the arm free. Back to Tupou, throws the dummy. A low tackle by Cooper Cronk. And then Will Chambers just can't stop Jeff Robson on the line. Desperate to get a result after the time that they've spent down this end of the field. And they've done it 5 minutes short of the halftime break. That could give them the confidence for the second stance. A Gallen, terrific job. And Tupou, what a weapon he is off the bench. And Robson, swung around at speed, does a great job to control the footy.
Took a real shot as well with his head slamming into the turf as he put the ball down, but did very well to hang on to it as he was swung in the tackle there by Chambers. You can't speak highly enough of the involvement there of Anthony Tupou. 10 metres to the side of the post. Michael Gordon trying to make it a 12-point game with one more chance with the ball in their hands for the Sharks before half-time. It is 18 points to 6. Don't forget it. Full time will take you to Super Saturday. Full time, in fact. New program to wrap up things. Wild Turkey Bourbon Super Saturday. We'll see what happened, of course, across the ditch between the Eels and the Warriors. The breakthrough by the Dragons down there in Canberra. Their first win of the season. We'll wrap up all the events from this game as well. That's Super Saturday full time immediately following the end of this one between the Storm and the Sharks. A bit of padding there around that right side, the ribs of Chris Hyington. His new kicking tees are good, but they fall over a lot, don't they?
They do. There's a real problem with them staying on the ball staying on the tee. It's only just there.
The grass is too lush for the kicking tee to need a couple of golf tees to make sure it doesn't fall over. Wouldn't fall over at Brookvale. It's wedged into the sand. No trouble there. Here's Graham to work it away from his own end. Ennis from dummy half, going to Tupou. He's taking the yards available to him this time. Angled in behind the play, the ball, and picked up 10 or 12, but it's a slow play, the ball, with Kafusi out there now involved in the tackle. Hyington following suit. See if they kick a tackle early. Here is Barber going to the line, turning it back underneath for Lewis. Got away from Felice Kafusi's attempt at tackle. Harris does the rest. They'll have one more. Ennis from dummy half. Looking for a result. Looking it away from Billy Slater. Almost find the in-goal area as well. Young Tonamapia, one of the local products here for the Melbourne Storm, will play it 5 out from his own line.
That was a smart kick from Michael Ennis. Jumped out to the right side, looked to be kicking down that touchline, saw Billy Slater head for the corner post and then just hooked it round to the middle of the field. Gave his side every chance to aim up in defence and really have them jammed down here, but that's a good run from Kurt Mann to relieve some pressure.
Like his work in this first half, Kurt Mann has been hard to stop on that left-hand side, especially from the right end. Here's Glasby working on the outside of Cooper Cronk. And now Chambers on the last, kicks hurriedly down the short side. I don't know if that was the plan. It'll give the Sharks pretty good field position here to begin this set. Cronk thought he was getting it back at first receiver. Instead, Chambers, a bit of ad-lib play. Oh, boy! Fecky hit the turf very hard there as he was wheeled to the ground. Natelli takes the Sharks back into enemy territory. Midway through this set, just on 30 seconds remaining. Barber turns Tupou back underneath. Gordon is there. You'd love to see Barber just put the foot down, but he admitted on Peter Sterling's program midweek, Sterlo on the couch, he isn't as quick as he was back in 2012 when he was a Dalian medalist and set the NRL alight. Here's Tupou picking up the crumbs. May not be a bad thing. Gordon is there. I'll have one more here. Just on 5 seconds remaining. Last play. Here's Gallen with the ball, giving it to Graham out the back, off the legs of Gallen. It ends right there, and that'll do us for the opening half. 3 tries to 1, and 2 of them to Tohu Harris. Cooper Cronk also scoring for Melbourne, and Jeff Robson getting the first try for the Sharks. Let's go downstairs to Brett Kamali.
Well, Ryan, an impressive start, 18 points to nil. Was the game come uncontrolled?
It was. We started really well, doing a really good job through the middle of their ruck, and I thought when we started to shift it a little bit, we got ourselves in a bit of trouble, put ourselves under pressure. So we just got to get back working through that middle and get a few opportunities.
Your defence, you must be really proud of how well you're defending.
It is something we worked hard on this year, and something we'll continue to work hard on because it's very important for us.
Good luck second half.
Thanks, Thomas.
They were good on their own line for the most part in that first 40. It's a 12-point buffer that Melbourne has. We will take a break and come back with a lot more right here on Wild Turkey Bourbon Super Saturday. We're back underway. Valentine Holmes with the kickoff. It'll go down. Brought back out by Jesse Bromwich. Is there an issue there with the referee hitting the deck off the kickoff? Here is Tohu Harris. Billy Slater going from dummy half, picking up 10 metres plus on this carry. He'll play it there. 20 on his own side of halfway. Smith comes away to hint at Kafusi. Pushing up on his outside. And they like Kafusi here at Melbourne. A lot of energy, a lot of spark this Melbourne Storm forward back. Here is Harris. A full 7:20 right there. Now Smith for Cronk. End over end kick going back. An awkward one for a moment. Gordon tracked it down well. Back out at the stop there by Mann. And also Korobidi here in the thick of the action. Opening 40 minutes on the left-hand side for Melbourne. Beal. Work it away. The one-time Bronco and then Dragon. Now a Shark playing it for Holmes. Good carry right there, bringing it back to Kafusi. He's a lightweight. He is so quick. Ennis behind. Bringing it back to the halfway line. They'll have it there with a couple more plays left. Good metres from their own end off the kick, which was taken at the goal line. Anthony Tupou. Something else off the bench for Shane Flanagan. Standing in the tackle here a long time before Glasby and Bromwich take him to ground, and they'll have one more. Goes to Robson. He puts it up. A lot of depth on the kick. Storm happy to watch it. Tap backwards by the Sharks going back. Fecky gives it to Robson. Back where they began, and Robson will be tackled right there. That wasn't in the playbook.
Didn't see it.
Hand over there, mate. Hand over.
Well, the Cronulla players think it touched the Melbourne Storm player. I didn't see that happen. It was a short kick from Jeff Robson, basically just went straight up in the air. Cronulla player, Melbourne were happy to let the Cronulla player make a play at it. And then Chambers made the tackle on Robson after he retrieved the ball. And a poor end to a, as you said, not a bad set from the Sharks.
Cronk gives it to Bromwich. No-look ball there for Ryan Hinchcliffe, who recently brought up his 150th game for the Melbourne Storm. Smith finds Green, a revelation on this left-hand side. They found the number 6 they'd been looking for. Good tackle there by Beale on Slater, well read. The Sharks right centre. Here is Kafusi standing, offloading. Smith to Cronk. Support back on the inside. Green is there, hanging on to it, still trying to get it away. They take him to ground 5 metres out. Ennis was there and so was Gallen. Smith dummies to kick. Went behind his own man. Harris, man, gives it to Corabiti. He scores in the corner. Was there an issue back in the middle of the field? They want to check it.
Tackle 6. Try. Just have a check of this touchline for me, please.
Well, I'll have a look at Cameron Smith because he went to pass the ball and then he went to run again, but he passed it. And I think they just want to make sure that he didn't run behind his players. They're happy with that. Corabiti gets over in the corner. Ben. It's a Barber sliding in.
There's never any drama with the put down. It was the play back in the middle of the field where Cameron Smith ducked out, stopped, hesitated, finally put the kick in. They won't check that. All they were concerned with was the grounding, but it was a staccato play which perhaps could have been reviewed.
And if it wasn't, and here's Cameron Smith again. You watch, he goes to pass the ball and then I just thought he might have taken a step behind Jesse Bromwich, but he did a terrific job just to hold the ball up. Bromwich attracts Luke Lewis, then all of a sudden everyone's sliding again. Tohu Harris does a great job to drag a couple of Sharks in, release the ball to man, and then it was quick hands to an unmarked Marika Corabiti. It was Ben Barber coming across, just sliding with his legs to try and prevent the try. He was very good in the first half, Corabiti. Put the Storm out of a bit of a hole a couple of times, retrieving kicks, and just had to get himself into the corner for that one. And all off the back of which was a poor kick from Jeff Robson. A bomb that went straight up in the air, landed around the 30-metre mark. The Sharks make a play that can get tackled, and the Melbourne Storm start their set just short of halfway.
So from out on the sideline, he has one from wide out tonight. To again make it an 18-point game. Boy, he has got it dialed in here this evening. What a kick again by the skipper. 24 points to 6, and you can smile after that one, Cameron. What a kick, Noddy.
Yeah, that's right. Everything's going the Melbourne Storm's way. The Cronulla Sharks have been unlucky with some calls, but they were positive at half-time, and the players said lots of metres up the middle for the Melbourne Storm. Their comments and their remarks was they need a really big start the second half. Where they've got that. They're worried about the discipline in attack and defence. Don't let the Sharks back in the game. There's a bit of a spell in the air about Melbourne Storm might be on tonight. A bit of ruthlessness in them.
We'll wait and see if that is the job. Made mention of it in running. Blake Green, a revelation on this left-hand side, and they've been searching for a 5'8" since the departure of Gareth a couple of seasons ago. Well, they've got a good one right here. He's back in the NRL since time in the UK Super League, and he has come back a much improved player.
About it. Melbourne become an infinitely more dangerous side with the ball if they've got a genuine left-hand side to go to, and they have with Blake Green and the combination he's already built with Tohu Harris. Kafusi looking to offload the ball after a good run.
Worrying signs right here. Massive metres for Melbourne in this set. Now Cronk chipping towards the corner. Fecky got back there to stop it from hitting the ground. He gets away from the chase of Glasby. He had Gordon there with him. If he gives it to Michael Gordon, boy, we've got a race on right then. Done well, though. As Telly brings it back to the 40. He's been able to really show what he can do in attack. Bromwich over the top there, flopping in late. Knock to the head as well. Hind. He'll play it for Ennis. Here's Gallup going towards Harris, spinning away from him, but Harris came again with the help of Bromwich. They get him onto his back. Thrashing around once again, the skipper. Here's a kick by Wade Graham. Getting back there, Billy Slater knew exactly where he was. He brings it back in a hurry, taps it, and gets going. Brilliant work again.
Brilliant stuff from Billy Slater. He is a treat to watch whenever he's on the football field. They give away a penalty, but you're right, just knew exactly where the try line was. 1 foot in the in goal, 1 foot out in the field of play.
There it is, Cameron.
They're still searching Billy for the try that would equal Ken Irvine for the most tries for a single club at 171.
Be ready for Michael Ennis.
Stranded on 170 at the moment.
On your foot.
Who knows, as we mentioned in the past, if we can play another 3 seasons or so, this one and 2 more perhaps. He's got a shot. Ken Irvine for the all-time record of 212. Here's Kafusi, taking the ground there by Gallen. Smith, it's out from dummy half, gives it to Croc. Green looks inside, then out, finds Harris. He opened up something for Harris there, who got one-on-one again with Barber, as he did for his opening try tonight. Smith, Croc wrapping to the left-hand side, Slater on his outside. Barber was there in front of him. Billy the Kid lost his footing. He's got 2 more plays as Croc comes back to Smith, goes wide to Green. They swap sides for the moment. Green and Croc. Here's Chambers. Telly with his hands full, got some help from the inside there through Robson and also Graham. Here's the last. Comes back. Croc out there again, chipping it across the face of the upright. Slater was there. Helped off the ball legally by the Sharks defenders, and they've got it through Ben Barber.
Well, we've already spoken a bit about Blake Green and what he did in the first half. And just watching him then a couple of times when he got the ball, and all the good ball players have time. There's a bit of composure and time about what they do with the ball, and Blake Green demonstrated that during the set there for the Melbourne Storm, where he shaped inside, looked outside, had plenty of time then to turn it back on the inside. He is looking good for the Melbourne Storm.
He has a really nice show back on the inside. A number of times here tonight. Hyington playing for Ennis. Dummy half and kick towards the sideline. The Seagulls scattering at the southern end of Amy Park. And now Corabini bumps away from one. Goes to Gordon, who cuts him down. But what a sight again. He is in full flight. You have got to be on your game when the kick goes down to him and he takes it on the full. The chase has got to be perfect.
And if you don't hit him with everything you've got, he will be going through. And that's exactly what happened there. Michael Ennis went up, looked to make a tackle, but it was a half-hearted shot from him. Green to Hinchcliffe.
Good ball, good tackle there by Graham. Play on, no. I'll say he was held right there. He plays it now. Play 5. Bypasses Glasby, gives it to Slater. Chambers, well marked there by Latelli. That result, it almost opened up in front of Billy Slater.
It did. It opened up. It opened up. He'd throw. If he threw the dummy there, he was into a hole.
Quick hands through the middle of the field. Hinchcliffe trying to get rid of it. Stripped there by Lewis. Play on. 6 more tackles. Smith! Cameron Smith will score! The captain is in. They will take a look and see how it unfolded with the strip by Lewis.
I have a try.
But it looks good for Melbourne, and there might be a big, big scoreline in the offing here.
Well, they got a fortunate bounce there, the Storm. Looked like things were going to be wrapped up. Luke Lewis went for the one-on-one strip. Was able to come back into the Storm's hands. Cameron Smith, they were worried about the men on his outside, and the further he ran, the further it looked like he was going to be the man to do the damage. Didn't help Michael Gordon slipping. Green gets Hinchcliffe. He looks on the outside. Just hasn't got time to pass it. Lewis will pull it out of his hands. Cameron Smith's there to retrieve. Throws the dummy. Pushes away from Ben Barber. Beale's come up past the ball. And then Michael Gordon slips as Cameron Smith just puts on the left foot step. Just thought it wise to tuck it under his arm, and it was the smart decision from Ryan Hinchcliffe. Couldn't get a good pass to Jordan McLean. And then Barber, just off balance, was pushed away easy.
We'll see the green lights right here. The strip was a pretty clean one as far as any potential knock-ons by Melbourne were concerned. No dramas right there. He's had a night where he smiled plenty of times, Cameron Smith. And when he scores for Melbourne, they have lost just one game since 2004. It's an impeccable record. One loss in the games that he scores in, tries that is, since 2004. And he grabs a 4-pointer right here. Good hands, wasn't it, through the middle of the park, and then
he was unlucky, Luke Lewis. It was a good play. He got up quick to shut Hinchcliffe down, and there might have been a bit of luck about it. But it just shows they had space on the outside. It shows you if you can't get a good ball away, hang on to it like Ryan Hinchcliffe did. And Cameron Smith, just following the footy, was able to get the bounce. Well, we thought that the try just short of half-time might have been something that the Sharks took to the break and came out and, well, put in an opening 10 minutes of the second half like they did in the first half, but things have just gone Melbourne's way and continue to do that.
That they have 30 points to 6, and this one-sided contest over the past couple of years continues on again tonight, Brett.
Yeah, that's right. Well, just think about your kicking game. Who are you going to kick to? If you think about the Melbourne Storm, do you bomb it? Do you put it to the edge? And who are the wingers are you going to try and avoid? They get on a roll so well. I know they're known in the past about being the best wrestling side defensively, but I just like how to play the ball speed. They find their front, they wrestle with the football, and they generate some momentum.
Well, not that play the ball speed that Noddy just spoke about then. That was what Cronulla couldn't handle in that 15-minute period in the opening half, where Melbourne scored 3 tries. Bromwich footwork almost gets himself through.
A lot of space in the middle of the field with Ben Barber there. On the edge of the middle, forced to make a tackle on the front row on play number 2 from their own end. I don't know how he ended up there.
If you didn't know he was wearing a number 8, Jesse Bromwich, you'd think watching him run front on, it could be 3 or 4 or even 2 or 5.
That sort of footwork, and there are a few around the NRL who are big and mobile. One of them has it right now. Tohu Harris. He will go the full 80 minutes again tonight, Tohu Harris, and the plan was that he might develop into an 80-minute player like Ryan Hoffman, the man whose place he's taking at some stage during the season, but it's a bonus right from the get-go that he's been able to play 80 minutes. Here he is again. Tackled there 20 metres out. Blake Green was upended after passing the ball. Now Bromwich goes too wide. McLean is there. The birds are flying everywhere, swooping in, and so are the Melbourne Storm. 2 plays left in this set. 5 metres out. Grant getting himself. He gets across the line. I don't know that he got it down.
I believe he's short.
Yes. Clarkey, tackle 5. We have no try. I just want to check if he's held up or if he's short.
Well, I think most people think he was short. Just the dummy was enough to give him a one-on-one shot at the Cronulla defence. He hasn't got Kevin Proctor outside him. Proctor has played little part in this game. Tim Glasby gets inside Robson. Chris Hyington. Oh, gee whiz. I tell you what, he might be over the line, but Wade Graham's just been able to either hold him up or push him back into the field of play.
Well, no matter what the replay shows here, you couldn't award it to him after we saw him on camera going, no, I didn't score.
No, look, just couldn't get the ball down, but it looked like he might have been... He's
close.
He's got himself into the in-goal area. Terrific stuff from Wade Graham just to get that leg underneath and deny him the 4-pointer.
I think for future reference, anytime a player like Cooper Cronk gets up and says, no, boys, I didn't score, don't worry about the replays. We'll just all move on. He doesn't get it down. He certainly didn't think he did, and the replays will confirm that for him.
We'll come back and the Storm will have another shot at the Cronulla line. But amazingly, the dominance of the left-hand side tonight. With Proctor's only had 2 runs of the football. Harris, on the other hand, has had 15 runs of the footy. That left has all of a sudden become the dominant side for the Melbourne Storm. And that's a good thing.
Last tackle right here and in this set. Smith at first receiver. Comes out the back to Green on the left again. Puts a kick in. It's a terrific kick. Corabiti had a play. Holmes was there to stop him though. And Blake Green doing it with his running, his passing, and now a kick. Well, that was Cronk-like.
Well, he had very little room to land that ball and to allow his man Corabiti to make a play at it. Almost got it right. Corabiti for a split second there looked like he was going to run onto the ball and catch it on the full.
Melbourne Storm tonight, 22 of 25 completed sets. The Sharks handling not too bad either at 17 of 21.
They have been starved of the ball in this second half, though, the Sharks.
Right now, Melbourne have had 54% of the ball for the game, but they only had 48% in the first half, as it turns out. Dominated possession, as you suggest, Brandy, as McLean goes inside the 20.
Well, it's as stark as this, and the Sharks have only got through 3 sets in the opening 15 minutes of this second half.
Green kicking again. What hands by Chris Hyington. Terrific snare, 10 metres out from his own line. Pouring through as well on the outside of Green. And the flexibility of the Melbourne attack. Cronk and Green swapping sides and really mixing it up to what we've seen in the past.
Well, this is how desperate it became for Melbourne last year, that Cronk was playing left and right. He was playing right, but then going onto the left-hand side too, because they just weren't confident enough with the players they had on that side of the field to be able to do something or not make an error.
Dane Weston is out there now for Melbourne as Paul Gallen brings it back up towards the halfway line. A rare touch. The Sharks captain in this second half. Here goes Barber. Beale back on the inside there for Bakuya, who is back on the field now, and that
6 tackle
will be the changer.
Well, no one knew. Did anyone know it was tackle 5?
Okay, Blake.
No real urgency there from Cronulla. Barber didn't realise, and if he did, he thought running it might be as good an option as any. Corabiti on play 1. That's a Kurt Mann, who's growing into this role on the left side himself, outside Green, and also Harris. From Longreach in Queensland originally, was signed by the Newcastle Knights before hooking up with Melbourne back at the beginning of 2013. Here's Hinchcliffe on the inside for Slater. Chambers on the outside. Ridden to the ground there by Latelli, and they've got it 15 metres out from Cronulla's line. Cronk, Hinchcliffe. Here's Smith again, getting plenty of touches away from the play the ball tonight in this middle third of the field. Cronk going back. Slater was there. Cronk comes away to Harris, though. Here he is again with Barber, who's able to swing him to the turf. Last play, Mann. Go to Cronk. Will chip across the field once again. Slater is there. So is Chambers. Knocked backwards by the Storm. It's going to be a knock-on by Cronulla. There was a hand in there from the Sharks. And Melbourne will have it 5, or rather 10 metres out.
It's on the 10, boys.
Well, the kick was on the spot. It was just short of the try line. It forced the Sharks to make a play at it. It was hard to see exactly what happened. Chambers up there. Jeff Robson was the man that got his hands to the footy.
Cameron, come in, mate. Stay here, Jeff.
Go early, give the penalty away. Go early.
Robbo, we got your inside, right? Ball in. Ouch. Short side.
On the back on the scrum. Smith to Slater, a chance out wide. Chambers only a couple of metres away. Searching for try number 6 here tonight. Backing them in the way they've opened up Cronulla at times here this evening. Hinchcliffe will play it. Smith going to McLean. Gallen was there waiting for him. So was Bakuya. And he's a real handful though from close range. Trying to play it quickly. It'll be a penalty against the Sharks for not letting him play it clean.
Well, just crowding him, standing all over him.
Smith taps it quickly. Here is Cronk giving it to Glasby. Terrific tackle, Jeff Robson. They keep it going the same way. Chambers is there. Trying to reach out. He will get the ball down. Chambers dives in for Melbourne.
And tackle 1. Check the grounding.
Oh, gee, it looked good. Looked good. He was right there. But he's unsure about it. He wants to go upstairs to have a look. It was a great tackle from Jeff Robson, but it was a legs tackle and the quick play the ball. Well,
did Gavin Badger refer that as no try?
He did he? What?
I'm not exactly sure what he saw, but his eyes were playing tricks on him. Chambers adds his name to the try scorers list here tonight. And well,
it was the quick play the ball was. It was a terrific tackle from Robson, but the quick play the ball from Glasby, they just couldn't get themselves set. They were pushing sideways, and then the footwork from Chambers, he was just able to get himself in between the defence of Latelli, who slid past him, and Wade Graham couldn't stop him from the inside. And Slater found himself on the ground. He's involved himself plenty of times on the other side of the field tonight. Will Chambers hasn't all been down the right side where he's done the damage. Scores his first.
And they're loving it, these Melbourne Storm fans, and there might be a bit more dancing to do before full time here this evening. 2 years ago, Melbourne scored 38. Last year they scored 48 against the Sharks, and still got 20 minutes here. The sequence might continue on.
What do you think Gavin Badger saw then? To say no try?
Don't know. I think there must have been a collision somewhere in front of the ball receiver.
It was as straightforward as I've ever seen a try. Quick play the ball, man beats a player on the inside, try.
Cameron Smith, his kicking is as straightforward as you've ever seen. What a conversion once again. 36 points to 6. They can just rack up these points against the Sharks, Brett.
Yeah, that's right. It must be the hoodoo against the Cronulla Sharks. We saw 48 points to 6 only a few months ago, the end of last year. Just keep an eye on what's happening to a lot of the Melbourne Storm players. They're being pulled off the ball, taken off the ball. Cronulla seem to be very frustrated. And I'm with you, Brandy. I don't know what option B or C would be with the video refs, because I'm not too sure what we're looking at the moment.
There's all I got. There's all that matters in the end. Here's Weston bringing it back.
Milking!
Go back on the mark.
Dane, boys. Billy. Cameron.
That's all right.
Cameron.
Dane, play the ball.
So while there's a Mothers Club meeting, David Fafita is staggering around beside everybody, and I don't know that the referee or anybody realised how concussed he was. There he is, slumping to the turf. Watch it once again. Here is Dane Weston. Oh boy, it's a real collision, and this might be an issue here for Dane Weston.
Well, just got the forearm up as he braced himself.
Unfortunately, got a little bit too high. Fafita looked to be in a bad way for a moment there. So it's a knock to the throat as opposed to a concussion that he was concerned with. And there was that little gathering, concern for his well-being. And Finucane working it away from Melbourne. Smith. Playing out wide, charging onto it. There's a confrontation. Luckily, Andrew Fafita and Paul Gallen were out there to meet him. Valentine Holmes, a friendly bounce to bring it back. A not so friendly reception there from McLean and also Weston. I wonder how much fight there is left in these Sharks in this remaining 18 minutes. It's been played off the park. Gallen will keep coming at them. 15 carries, 28 tackles as well. Barber, Gordon, quick hands, Latelli, nice hands to Fecchi. Got away from Cronk and Chambers. Stepped off the right back towards the sideline, and Cameron Smith was floating over there with some help from Proctor. Gordon goes to Robson. There is Andrew Fafita. He will play it here 30 metres out. They've got one more in Ennis. Well, passes David Fafita. Big gap there for Paul Gallen. Picked up by Barber. That was clever. Over the top. A chance. Beale draws and passes. Valentine Holmes is in for Cronulla.
I'm happy. You're happy? Reedy, happy?
Lovely piece of play in the middle of the field between Paul Gallen and Ben Barber.
It was a great run from Gallen. I like the play on the left-hand side of the field that set this up. Michael Ennis does a great job, pulls Cameron Smith out of the defensive line. Gallen wanted a supporter close to him, but Ben Barber just dropped off a couple of metres, but was able to scoop up the bouncing ball and then realised there was space on the outside. Jared Beale just squares things up and allows, well, forces Corabetti to make the tackle so he can't slide off onto Valentine Holmes. But I liked what I saw from the Sharks on the left-hand side of the field in the lead up to that, and that was quick hands between Michael Gordon, who you rarely see pass the football, and Ricky Latelli to give Sasai Fecchi some space down that left-hand side of the field, get the Storm on the back foot. That allowed Mick Innes to jump out of dummy half and create a bit of space for Paul Gallen.
Wondered how much resolve they had left, and they showed right there. Plenty of fight in these Sharks, despite the scoreline being lopsided once again when they come to the Victorian capital. Gordon from wide out. Brett Kamali in a moment for a report on that incident between Dane Weston and David Fafita. Kick, like Cameron Smith, is perfect. What a display we've seen from these kickers here tonight. What was the wash-up in that clash, Brett Kamali?
Yeah, that's right. We saw the Sharks doctor standing here at the NRL medical tent for the David Fafita little. He did certainly get what appeared to be a concussion. He fell to the ground. He did get elbowed in the practice, but we saw Josh Maguire last night. The Broncos were unaware of him even getting knocked out until the NRL brought it to the Broncos' attention. Did he get replaced? We saw him not return. So player welfare is at hand, but nothing happening at the moment.
They look to be okay. I think it might have been, just as we said, more of a knock. Boy, the birds here, I don't know what they... The grassy must be chip flavoured.
It's feeding time.
They love a nighttime game. The lights attract them off Port Phillip Bay or something. From end to end. Anyway,
I'll go through.
Yep. Must be off-putting when the kickoff's coming down towards you and suddenly there are 1,000 seagulls up there and a ball coming through the middle of it all.
On your foot. Hold foot, Ricky. That's it, good work.
Off the penalty, Robson to Barber. His speed to the equation, coming quickly. Lost the ball, he hurt a leg there.
And I've got dangerous Marika Corabetti at the leg.
Grimace on his face.
We've got a dangerous tackle.
There certainly was a grimace when the ball came loose, and now a bit of a set two between Jason Bakuya and Marika Corabetti. Jason coming to grips right there.
Jeff, can you just get him out for us, mate?
Love lost between the two Fijians. Watch it again as Holmes threw the dummy and then just straightens. Stopped by Mann initially, and then it was Corabetti. Well, there was nothing wrong with that tackle there. Got him right around the hip, and it might have been awkward in the end, but it was a completely legal action there by Marika Corabetti.
Yeah, hit him in the hip, grabbed around the back of the legs. And I thought he might have landed awkwardly in a crusher-style situation, which would have been an accident as well.
We already have, mate. Yep.
Cameron Smith just telling Gavin Badger that it was the hips, not the knees or below.
Yes, mate.
We'll give the Sharks to run through some plays right here. Peg back the scoreline a little bit. Here's Barber going to Graham. The barking instructions, what he wants from his forwards the next couple of plays. Robson is over there also now, trying to just get them in the right shape. Barber waiting. And get it on play 3. Goes to Gallon at the back for Gordon. Here is Beale up against man, but well handled there by the centre with some help from Blake Green. Gordon. Feed it to Baku. In and away. Coming to Smith and also Weston. Ennis looking down the short side. Will go to the open though. There's Gallon giving it to Robson. Out the back is Barber. They bypass him once again. Latelli got away from the charging young Tonomapia. And they'll work it here with one more. Fecky feeds it for Robson. Wanting to get a kick in. Got it away in time. Plenty of Sharks are there. Coming in though. Corabiti was a man on a mission. And the mission isn't over just yet. Here he comes. You better muscle up, boys. Luckily, there are a couple of Fafitas on hand to stop him.
Don't you love watching him? Don't you just love watching everything that he does? He travelled 20 metres to take that bomb and then sprinted as fast as he could. Tonomapia gives Chambers a little bit of space after some good work. But Corabiti he's a thrill to watch.
He is. They lost Cecil Wonga, but got Marika Corabiti down here, and he is entertainment plus. Now Proctor, Slater there, the old 3-card trick on the right side. Slater gets away, still going. Wrapped up eventually by Ricky Latelli. He'll play it quickly. Smith to Cronk. They scatter the birds once again. Green back underneath. Kafusi is there. He'll be stopped by Bakuya. Smith scampers the dummy half, goes out the back. A collision in the middle of the field. Green spinning. He plants it down, but there's a bit to check right here.
No try. Obstruction in here on Fafita.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Proctor was a player on the outside. Now, I thought Proctor stayed on the outside of Green as he threw the dummy and then stepped back in field. But we'll see it on the replay and just see how it exactly unfolds. Some terrific play from the Melbourne Storm again. Cameron Smith looking down the short side, picks it up and comes open. Throws the ball behind 2 players. Fafita pushes. Well, it's Dale Finucane that's come through. It's Dale Finucane that comes through. Andrew Fafita just tries to push away from him.
Yeah, it's a no try.
He does deny Fafita a chance to make a play at him.
And you can't park yourself in front of the ball like that and take away the running of Andrew Fafita, who was following the ball. Blake Green will plead a case, but there was no shot there for Andrew Fafita, and the correct call from our video referees.
Obstruction. We're playing on. Yeah, it's obstruction. We're playing on, Cameron. We're playing on.
A couple of times tonight, Cameron Smith's held his pass up beautifully, hasn't he? He's almost second-guessed himself when he's gone to pick up the lead run and realised that there was some space on the outside. It was his work that created the opportunity and the try for Marika Corabiti down this left side. Just did it again, but Finucane runs straight into Fafita.
Don't forget, on Wednesday night on Sterlo on the Couch at 7:30 Wednesday night on Fox Sports 1. We'll bring you James Seguiaro mic'd up during the clash between the Roosters and the Panthers this Monday night at Allianz Stadium. Looking forward to that. One of the real personality players of the NRL, James Seguiaro, the Penrith hooker. And that's next Wednesday night, 7:30 on Sterlo on the Couch. Oh, some bodies in that tackle right there.
No, I think Blake Green was the one that pulled up injured out of that, and it was Dane Weston who came in to try and put Fafita on the ground and probably made more contact on his 5'8" than he did Fafita.
It's a solid 5'8", no question about that, Blake Green, but he's taken a shot. Some friendly fire right there. There's David Fafita ending away for Finucane before he played the ball. Gallen inside the 10. We'll play it for Ennis. Out towards Robson's side of the field. Andrew Fafita pouring through a gap, back on the angle.
Tackle 3.
They're in again, the Sharks.
Just confirm this
And I'll
grounding
get
for me,
confirmation from upstairs.
A great line from Fafita and a terrific short ball from Michael Ennis. Fafita coming back against the grain. And the only question is the put down. Well, it looked like he was going to keep his hand on top of the ball, but then just at the last second was there. Oh, I don't know if that's a try. I think his hand slid off the side of the footy as he realised he was short and maybe the flat way wasn't going to get the result. He turns.
That's okay. Got a grip on the ball. His thumb is still locked around the side of the ball as it hits the turf. This angle here gives you a bit of a false impression because you lose sight of his hand. So it goes around the side of the ball there, but
looks like his hand falls off the ball. But
and because of the blurring of the frame there as well, the other angle gave you a better look at it, a clearer shot of his hand, to my way of thinking, staying in contact with the ball as he put it down. This one here is more indicative of what happened. That's okay.
Okay. That's good video refereeing work there to stop it right on the spot. The ball's on the line.
The blurring from the other angle
Just
gave you the impression
that it fell away.
That is a false impression.
Long way to run back if they disallow it, but they haven't. Sharks are ready for kickoff. Michael Gordon's got the ball on the tee.
So from right in front, Michael Gordon. It's a high-scoring game suddenly here. 36 points to 18 inside the final 10, Brett.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's where the Cronulla Sharks need to play. We saw a few great tackles in the first half by Blake Green where they tried to go through the Melbourne Storm. I think too much of they going around the Melbourne Storm and racing towards the corner post, as was said in the first half or at the start of the game. Straight up, more direct running and use that physicality. Melbourne Storm obviously cured the rack. Cooper Cronk down here on the bicycle on the sideline.
Cameron Smith to get us back underway. As the Seagulls scatter once again and diving amongst the middle of them. Jeff Robson was there to make the catch. David Fafita. Let's see if we hear more about that raised arm from Dane West, colliding with the chin and the jaw of David Fafita. Here's Robson. Barber with a bit of room to move. His foot down there for a moment. He really hit top speed though. You'd like to see him just show and go and take them on. It's exactly what he does here from dummy half. Bakuya. The more ad-lib play he can get himself involved in, second phase, the better he will be as far as an asset to Shane Flanagan and these Sharks in 2015. He'll pick it up here. Here's some ad-lib second phase ball. Watch him step. Away from Finucane. Glasby is there to wrap him up. He'll play at 40 out.
I just wonder how much speed he has lost. His admission that he's not as quick as he was in 2012. We're only a few years down the track. And the Cronulla Shark hand gets a touch to the football. Wade Graham to Billy Slater. He's not an old man, Vinnie Barber.
That's the thing. It was a stunning admission. Boy, there's a good shot jamming in Ricky Latelli. Rattling young Tonomapia there, but if you missed it last Wednesday night on Sterlo on the couch, one-on-one interview with Peter Sterling, Ben Barber confessed to not being as quick as he was. He won the Dally-M medal for the Bulldogs back in 2012. He didn't know whether it was because of ankle surgery he's had or the protein shakes that he drank in his season with the Brisbane Broncos in 2014.
See, that situation there where he had the ball and he had the Melbourne Storm defence going backwards, that was an ideal situation for Barber. Defence not sure who's going to get the ball. They've got a numbers advantage on the outside. They're backpedaling and he doesn't take advantage of it. Terrific take by Fecky.
Here he comes on the kick return as well. Keeping it alive, Michael Gordon couldn't hang on to it. They've coughed it up and Melbourne will come back at them. Corabetti. There's a fat ball there for Slater. And that one goes straight to the ball kids.
Scrum here.
Not his best. A player whose passing game developed so quickly in the early part of his career, a career that began on the wing for Craig Bellamy. Good run by Fecky, and the ball just a little bit out in front of Michael Gordon.
Well, he doesn't make many mistakes, Billy Slater. I hope those words aren't fired at the great number one.
You'd like to think not, but he's a hard taskmaster, which is why they're as good as they have been for so long. Expectations are high from everybody in every situation.
You flopped in and you stayed in.
There we go. Gotcha, Sharpie.
The penalties racking up 11-7. The Sharks winning that particular tally with just over 6 minutes remaining. Some chances at the back end of the game, no question about that, and they've scored a couple of times as a result. Robson goes to Barber. Sideline to sideline early in this tackle count. Nothing doing there for Fecky, who backed away and then came again. Green is there, and so was Chambers. Here's Gallon charging hard once again. He had Bakuya coming with him. He was tackled without the ball.
Tackled without the ball.
According to referee Gavin Badger.
Well, that was a near thing, but terrific play from Anthony Tupou. Onto the field. Really ran right to the defensive line before he gave Gallen the football, and he gave Gallen some space to work with and almost able to pick up Bakuya.
Up we get. Let him get. Don't kick out. Don't kick out.
Just play the ball.
Andrew Fafita. The referee saying could just play a chance. Tupou going to Slater. He was going to reach out, and in trying to do so, he lost it.
Thanks, mate.
Well, it's been his ball playing and his footwork that have inspired a couple of Sharks raids, but that time hit the ball off Paul Gallen flat and almost got himself into the in-goal area.
Yeah, mate.
Another tackle by Blake Green.
He's out there on that right-hand side because Cooper Cronk is back warming up for the Tour de France, back on the Melbourne Storm bench.
Need a lock, Melbourne.
Doing an early mark tonight, and we've seen Cameron Smith get a breather already this season after being an 80-minute player, of course, throughout his career. This might be at the back end of their careers, a tactic by Craig Bellamy when he gets the chance in a blowout like this to try and give Smith and Cronk and even Slater perhaps a breather.
Yeah, why not? Seen some good defence from both Jeff Robson and Blake Green. Some terrific low tackles on some rampaging forwards.
Same again, Paul.
Weston playing it. Here's Hinchcliffe. The Greens. Got the reins right now. Without Cooper Cronk in the pre-season, Bellamy said Blake Green was very good at controlling things for him. Kafusi coming to grips with Andrew Fafita, who's never too far from the action. Green, what a ball that was. Slater keeps it going. Went backwards out of the hand. That's okay. And Tonomapia has it. He'll play it here 35 metres away. What a pass from Green right there.
Great little play there. Hinchcliffe, Blake Green and Billy Slater involved.
Here's Smith back on the inside for Slater, kicking this time, chasing through. Kurt Mann or Marika Corabetti knew about it. The ball stripped out there by Billy Slater. It'll be a penalty for Valentine Holmes and the Sharks.
Well, Slater chased the kick and was first to make the tackle, but Kafusi joined in just at the wrong moment, which meant it was a 2-on-1. Billy Slater thought it was just him alone.
Sharks have it at the halfway line, and they'll play it there. Don't forget, at the end of this game, to Super Saturday full-time, a wrap-up of all the action, all the events. Wild Turkey Bourbon Super Saturday. We're a few minutes away from this one coming to a conclusion. Hinchcliffe coming up with it.
Hinchcliffe has pushed the ball out.
He held the ball away from Bafita's grasp, and it will be the Sharks who will hang on to it from a scrum feed.
Yeah, just stay at it.
Looking ahead to next week.
Stay bound.
Next, see the Storm in
Let's go,
action on
Melbourne.
Monday Night Football. A long trip to North Queensland where they'll take on the Cowboys. And what a game that will be for the Cowboys. 0-3 at home and against the Melbourne Storm, no less.
Time's on. Out.
Sharks win the scrum. Their next game will be next Saturday night. They'll take on the Titans back at home at Ramondas.
Okay.
Here's Tupou towards the uprights. Unfortunately, their records, like the Cowboys, will also be 0-3. Perhaps their last chance at this end of the field in this one. Ennis giving it to Robson. He already has one try tonight, the halfback. Couldn't grab a second right there. The ball was a good one. Just spilled away from him. Ennis drawing and passing, and he knew there was a collision coming. Robson just couldn't absorb the impact and catch it at the same time.
Blake Green again around the legs, making the tackle on Jeff Robson. As we saw in the first half, Robson doesn't mind putting his body on the line close to the try line if he thinks he's required to hit a hole. He did that off Michael Ennis then. This is done some good things around the ruck for his ball runners, created some space. He just came out after the halftime break with plenty of points to make up, and really played without the football for the opening 20 minutes of this half. It was almost 75% of the ball Melbourne's way, and they were able to just go bang, bang, bang with 3 tries.
At one point it was 36 points to 6, and a half century was on the cards, but did well, the Sharks, to come back and score a couple of tries through Holmes and also for Fafita. 15 seconds left. They'll work it back across the halfway line. Dane Weston will play it there. Now count down the final few seconds as Smith gets it. He'll probably take it out of play or just kick it down the sideline. In fact, Gordon will come up with the ball. Corabini is ever playing at 100 miles an hour right to the finish. Melbourne have scored their second win of the season. A big one as well. 36 points to 18 at full time against the Sharks. 6 tries to 2.